Hello everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the Minecraft Emporium. What you're about to see is a Minecraft prison, but before I get to that, I have a little something to say. April 18th is the 1 month anniversary of the Minecraft Emporium channel, and this prison not only is the 10 subscriber special, 15 subscriber special, but will probably be my 20 subscriber special. Because the way things are going, prisons have been doing exceptionally well on the channel, and I want to truly thank you for all of your support. In any case, let's crack into the actual build, and once more, thank you so much for sticking around. Alrighty then, thank you so much for sticking around, as always, and although I'm not going to do a cinematic, dramatic, shader type showcase for this build, I would absolutely love to show you the inner workings of this type of design. Now this lower chamber I actually have a tutorial for on this build, and I'll be explaining all of the mechanics shortly, but I want to focus just for a moment on the upper chamber here. Shout out to the legend who commented on my Hermes prison that it was simply too cramped and too compact for a prisoner's well-being. And so in this case, I think I made this prison, 25 times larger, because going from a 1x1 to a 5x5 is a truly extraordinary transformation. I'm going to turn on this build in just a moment, of course, but I would like to demonstrate firstly the inside of the prison, as you have just seen. Flipping all the way around to the back, we can see a lever right here, and although it is incredibly loud, it is perfectly secure. I'm going to teleport myself down into the bowels of the prison, you could say, and around us you can see a variety of things that are occurring. I'm going to quickly set my game mode into survival just to showcase things a little bit. And so on all walls around me, you can see we have mining fatigue instantaneously. We have solid endstone blocks. Shout out to this legend, who also noticed that there might be some vulnerability in the moments between when the blocks move, but this is actually just a visual error. I can still never punch inside of these things. And why we have these things moving around is simply because that we cannot simply focus on a block long enough for it to break. For example, if I was to move across here, and even if I stepped in perfect time for when this thing moved, it will be moved into this corner section before I can ever keep my eye on it. And although this roof up here may be shifting back and forth, it's just incredibly, if not impossibly difficult in order to break out of any such thing. On the floor down here, hopefully you can see that there's just no way to actually break or mine any of these blocks, and if you're wondering, no, relogging, shifting, glitching, and anything like that is simply impossible. I've even crashed the game in order to test this thing rigorously enough to show that it is secure. Our floor down here is actually a cobblestone generator, and if I switch myself into Game and Creative because Mining Fatigue 3 is horrible, you can see that it instantaneously regenerates. There's no saving and quitting or anything like this. It is simply a floor made out of impenetrable cobblestone. If you're wondering why we didn't do that for the ceiling, it's just because of the way the redstone works. It gets a little more complex. Obviously, I should say that you would want to wrap this entire thing deeply encased inside of obsidian, just so that, no one's going to try to break in, and even if you do somehow remotely manage to get out, which, believe me, is impossible, there'd still be some extra lines of defense. Now you might be noticing, why is this giant skinny rod of pillar here that is separating this lower area from the upper area? And you might also be wondering, why on earth is this called the AETHER prison? Well, the Aether dimension is famous for having air all around it and having air creatures and things. And this prison has a lot of air. And I would like to demonstrate this mechanic for you because this lower section is a little bit more complex to understand immediately. However, on Bedrock Edition, I'll leave an iCard to a more detailed tutorial. If a player sets their spawn on a block that is then obstructed, say moving a block into it, as soon as they die, they're going to respawn on the highest vertical block that they can. And as you can see right here, the reason why we have this giant skinny pillar is simply so that the items that the player drops are separated way down here from all of the things up top. I've expressed this point numerously in my other videos, but I feel that it should really be hit home. That all of the different prisons, the Hades prisons, Poseidon's prisons, Zeus prisons, the Obelisk prison, etc., all of them, they possess, they're wonderfully designed, of course, but one of their greatest flaws is prisoners sneaking items in. And this system down here completely and utterly makes it impossible for a player to sneak items up into the top area. I'm going to show you a little bit on how this bit works, but as you can see, the bed is spawning up there, and believe it or not, the highest vertical block that is spawning on a solid, non-dangerous block is immediately inside of the prison. That's what I find so cool about this concept, is because by dying, not only does a player release all of their items down below, but they also spawn immediately and instantaneously inside of the above prison. I think it's about time that we should have this little build down below work. Of course, I have no friends, as usual, and so no one's going to be acting as the guard, so I'll be flipping the levers in a way by setting redstone blocks. Shall we proceed? The player moves inside of the upper chamber, actually lower chamber, and instantaneously the doors below them have closed, and all of this around them makes it nearly impossible to mine. The only thing that the player can do is set their spawn on this bed. Unfortunately, oh, that is incredibly close. It is possible for the player not to click on the bed, but unfortunately, that is the only way of doing things at all of the other major prisons, of course, using this mechanic. I'm going to quickly flick a lever, and I'll show you that from the outside, but as for my case, I'm just going to set a redstone block. I'm sorry, I'm so slow at typing. A redstone block at this position here, bear with me, just like so, and we are instantaneously pushed into this position here. We can't mine the bed, click on the bed, or do absolutely anything. And once we're in this position, under this slab right here, is where we're going to be killed by the guard. Again, I'll show you that from the outside/inside. But if we kill ourselves to simulate being slain by the guards, all of our items will drop onto the floor, as you can see, but we'd be spawned instantaneously inside of the prison. How crazy is that? Also, I'm gonna set myself back in game mode creative, and we'll have a fly around the lower portion of the prison. Alrighty everyone, now showing you the guards' quarters. Hopefully you're not a little bit disappointed, because there's not really much to see. As I like to say in these different types of videos, I really want to focus on more of the internals and redstone contraptions rather than the exterior and making everything particularly immense and foreboding. I want to make things secure, but not necessarily complex or intricate and things like that. And so, moving swiftly onward, you can clearly see that the guard standing on this red area here for demonstration would kill the player in this position here, and they can even retract with a lever here in order to access all of the items that the players dropped. Moving up the ladder and over across these glass blocks here, you can see the redstone block that I set earlier. This lever here and here controls how the player is pushed into that that side killing area. These blocks here extend over top of the bed, and these slime blocks here are just part of some of the redstone circuitry and kind of logic. These Elder Guardians here are obviously to inflict mining fatigue upon the player, and you might be wondering, Alex, why aren't there any beacons here? Well, because this is a bed trap type thing, death for the player only means they respawn back up inside of the top kill chamber, so I don't really need to worry about hunger or really anything like that. And after you've seen the two very small mechanisms that the guards operate, as well as the lever up at the top, that's actually probably going to do it for the entire showcase of this build. Coming out in a little bit, I will actually have a bit of an exploration as to ways in which the exterior of prisons can be secured. And as always, the reasons and the ways in which I improved this prison, as you could saw from the beginning, was completely based on the comments that you leave down below. And so I really do want you to leave comments down below, provide some constructive criticism, some comments, some observations, and all of those things. Furthermore, the channel is reaching 25 subscribers, which is really cool. And once more, I want to thank you so much for watching. And with that, take care and have a splendid rest of your evening.